What is up, you guys? What a crazy couple days in the stock market, and obviously with the airliners. If you've been a part of my Discord and my Capitalist Academy, you know that we've been calling this specific stock, American Airlines, out for a couple of weeks now. And in this video, I want to go over the specific patterns and technical analysis that showed us that this move was happening, but also some fundamental reasons on why the stock market is at all-time highs for the NASDAQ in only about 250 points away from all-time highs on the S&P 500. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. First of all, I want to congratulate anybody who made some serious money on American Airlines. I cashed out yesterday and I only made $2,000. I'm going to go over the situation. I should have made about $10,000, but even though I've been trading for 6 years, I made a rookie mistake. And this is why I tell you guys, always take the time to make sure you are, setting the correct orders, make sure that you're setting the correct limits, make sure that you're doing everything appropriately, because no matter how long you've been trading or investing for, mistakes can still happen. But let's go over the technical, aspect of what happened with American Airlines. You can see right here, let me get rid of all of this, make it a little easier for you to see. So we can see right here, we have this descending wedge. Now, for those of you who do not know what a descending wedge is, it's essentially your resistance points are making lower highs and your support points are making lower lows. Now, it's not like a channel like we'll see sometimes where the highs and the lows are equal. In this situation, they're actually coming to a point, or what we call in technical analysis terms, an apex point. The best way to explain it, and it's disgusting, but I say it all the time, is like a zit, right? If you have one finger, which is your resistance, and one finger, which is your support, and you're just squeezing a zit, squeezing a pimple till it gets to the head of the disgusting white head part of the pimple, and then eventually it pops. Now, it'll depend to what side will it pop. I've done a bunch of videos on symmetrical triangles that pop to either direction. We have descending wedges, which usually, 8 out of 10 times pop to the upside. Sometimes we'll have rising wedges, which pop to the downside. There's an 80% chance that this type of wedge is going to pop to the upside. Now, did I think it was going to pop, 100%? No. But there's a couple of different ways that we can tell that this move was going to happen to the upside. Number one is going to be that we broke above this EMA. Now, for those of you who do not know what an EMA is, I will link a video that talks about technical analysis, and an EMA is an exponential moving average. Now, I use a 15 EMA, and in the short term, it's used as a support and resistance, to either direction in the trend in which a stock is moving. So we broke above the EMA, which is a bullish sign, and we held above the EMA. We had this big push up and then a pull down, and this is where I entered right here at $10.33. Now, we also had what's called a bullish divergence. A divergence happens when the price action of a stock moves the opposite way of the RSI. So an RSI, for those of you who do not know, is a relative strength index. The best way that I can explain an RSI is basically the strength of the trend. So in this case, the trend is down, but the RSI is going up, which is indicating that the downward trend is becoming weaker and weaker. And what happens is when you get a mix of this descending wedge with a bullish divergence, and I'll remove this so you can see it a little better, we're making higher highs on the RSI and lower highs on the price action. You get this like indecision that's happening within the stock, where the strength of the trend is weakening. We're starting to peak up and finally hitting a bottom, and then we usually get a bunch of tension. What you'll see most of the time here, this is a TTM squeeze. This is an indicator that's proprietary to Thinkorswim, but you can also use Bollinger Bands. What you'll normally see is a squeeze occurring, a ton of pressure that's forming. We actually didn't see this time, and we ended up popping up, pulling back. I got in at $10.47. And in 4 days, it's up 115%. Now, the big question here is why? Why did it go up over 100%? And there's a couple reasons, right? It's not just because we had this technical analysis that was forming. Yes, this usually means that we're going to get a push up, but I did not expect this kind of an aggressive move in such a short amount of time. I thought maybe we would cover up to the 200-day SMA in about 2 or 3 months, not 2 or 3 days. And there's a couple things that are happening right now. Number one is that where the economy is starting to open up. Due to the whole Rona situation and everything that's going on, people have been cooped up. They are not feeling human and they want to get out. There are a lot more people traveling. A lot of people, including myself, booked a lot of flights for, this summer into the early fall. And overall, American Airlines actually announced that their summer bookings are up higher than they had expected. That's why we had this original push. The second thing is that the stock market is really moving at this point on greed. There is no reason, in my opinion, that the S&P 500 should be so close to being at all-time highs, that the NASDAQ is actually at all-time highs. There is no reason for this to be happening. We have all of this tragic situation that's going on with, George Floyd and these protests and the peaceful protests and these riots going on. We have a nation that's completely divided. We have a crazy presidential election that we're going to go into pretty soon. We have the Fed pumping a ton of money into the stock market, propping it up, keeping it up. We have, the whole Rona situation where we don't know how opening the economy is going to be. And the thing is, we are really pushed right now by greed. I talk a lot that the stock market overall is ran by greed and fear. If you look at before this crash, the stock market was in full greed mode. 99% of companies were extremely overvalued. And that's why we got a 40% sell-off in 30 days, was because all of that greed got ripped away and there was nothing but fear left in the stock market. And when you have fear mixed with uncertainty, like the whole Rona situation, this is when a crash will happen. And, bouncing, I understand. I think that a lot of people overestimated what the Rona situation would do. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a terrible tragedy and that, lives weren't lost. I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying that the projections from the very beginning when we shut the country down were a lot worse than the numbers that we actually ended up getting. And that's why we are seeing this V-shaped recovery. But in my opinion, if you were to look at things, with clear eyes, you would know that, the S&P 500 should probably be at 2,800, maybe 2,700. But the fact that we're not only over 3,000, but we're almost at 3,200 is mind-boggling. And so I think that, with the case of American Airlines, and I did a whole video, I will post it right up here, on the best airlines to buy, right after Warren Buffett went through and got rid of Delta and a couple of other companies. I ended up saying that American Airlines was not the safest company to buy, but would bring the highest potential rewards. And obviously right now we're seeing that. Not only in the specific case of American Airlines, not only do we have a really nice technical pattern showing up, not only did a ton of volume come into the stock, mixed with the fact that we have the economy reopening and people are booking more flights, but we also have smart money coming into this stock, right? You have all these institutional investors and hedge funds and millionaires, the people who move the market, not people like us. The people who move the market are seeing that finally these airlines have hit a bottom. They're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. They're seeing that, we're probably not going to get another aggressive sell-off, that, the government will probably end up bailing out a lot of these companies and that things are going to be okay. And so they start dumping their money into this. Now, the big question I'm going to get is, should I buy American Airlines? Should I sell American Airlines? Is American Airlines worth holding on to right now? And in my personal opinion, I would not be buying American Airlines at this point right now. I think that this is a company that is at a fair price, but I'm somebody who wants to buy a good company or a great company that's undervalued. And I don't think that American Airlines is undervalued at $22 a share right now. Now, would I go ahead and sell it? I think that that's dependent upon how long of a time frame you have, what your investment horizon is. If you're somebody who wants to hold this stock for the next 5 years, don't go selling it right now. If you're somebody who bought this with the thoughts of holding it for a year, I would probably start to get rid of shares at this point, because we're starting to get in very, very, very dire overbought territory. And I do think that a big pullback could happen, right? It doesn't have to happen. It could happen. But let's talk about my personal situation and what ended up happening yesterday, and how, I said at the very beginning of this video, no matter how long you've been trading or investing for, you need to always watch your P's and Q's, because you can really screw yourself. So I had $10,000 worth of American Airlines, and yesterday morning we were up 13%, and we were riding this EMA, and it was 10:30 in the morning, and I wanted to set a stop loss. So for those of you who do not know what a stop loss is, it's essentially a type of order that you can set where if a stock hits a certain price, it will sell it at market order. I had a lot of things to do yesterday. I was making that video on GNUS, and I decided like I need to set a stop loss just in case something happens. So I plan to set a stop loss here at $12.55, and what ended up happening was, I'll show you. So if you just right click and you hit sell, you hit edit, I went down here and I had 1,000 shares. So I went to sell 1,000 and I set the price, and I never turned this from limit to stop, and I just hit sell. And as soon as I hit sell, obviously it sold everything. I locked in $2,300, which was really nice, and then it ripped. And then it kept ripping, and it wouldn't stop ripping. And so far right now, like I missed out on an extra $7,500. But it's what happens, right? Like I've been in the market so long that it's not a big deal. Like $10,000 is not that big of a deal. It's not that much money. It's not life-changing money. But just remember, like no matter how long you've been doing it, make sure you're really taking the time to go through your orders and to set your specific limit numbers so that you don't make a stupid mistake like that. So let me know what you guys are doing. Let me know if you made good money on American Airlines, if you guys are buying it right now, if you're selling it right now. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Also, hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps me and the channel out. We're like 1,700 subscribers. I want to thank you guys so much for everything, for the community, for everything you guys have been doing. If you want to join my private stock market academy to get alerts like this, we specifically called this out on Friday of last week, and look what happened right now. So I'll put the link down below. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'll see you.